Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us, joining the Spiritist Talk series promoted by the United States Spiritist Federation every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much, everyone, and thank you for YASCO ARACAVA, who's here. And I'm just so happy to be able to welcome her to host this talk. And YASCO will be discussing just such a great topic: Jesus's miracles or psychosomatic healing. Let me start again. Jesus' miracles or psychosomatic healing, resilience as a psychotherapeutic tool. Before we proceed with today's talk, Yasko, I would like to take a moment to remind everyone in the audience today that this past Monday, April 11th, we turned 2. It has been 2 years since we started our Spiritist Talk series, and I just am really excited to be able to commemorate, to celebrate together with you today. I also would like to remind everyone that we have a class called Initiation into Spiritism. It is a virtual course, and each Sunday there is a new lesson released to all of us. This class, available online, is free of charge, and it is meant for those who would like to learn a little bit more or review the basic principles of Spiritism, which was first published by Allan Kardec in 1857. Just a quick summary: this is a self-paced class composed of 30 lessons and 8 interactive Q&A sessions. Lessons, as I mentioned before, are released weekly on Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern. Please take a moment to visit the course page on the U.S. Spiritist Federation website. It is www.spiritist.us. If you register, you'll be able to receive the reminders by email. Tomorrow, Sunday, April 17th, the lesson will be on reincarnation. What a great topic, huh? Finally, you have seen that every once in a while we put a QR code on screen. If you enjoy this series of live talks, if you're able, take a moment to donate so we can develop new classes. We thank you. We thank you for scanning it, and please note that your donation will help produce future publications as well as promoting Spiritism to everyone. Now, back to YASCO. YASCO, so good to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Together, me and everyone who's watching this live would like to give you a warm welcome. We hope you're doing well. And it is so good to have you here to discuss this topic, right? As I understand it, Yasko, you will visit Jesus' healing approach. And as you do so, you may share with us how psychotherapists are finding some parallels with the healing approach in modern psychoanalysis. And also, I believe you're going to talk about the teachings, as we found in the Sermon on the Mount, on resilience, humility, faith, and how those teachings are raising questions whether Jesus performed miracles or simply psychosomatic healings? I can't wait to hear from you. And I'm sure everyone here as well is so eager to hear about this important message. Before Yasko starts to enlighten us in the next 60 minutes or so, I would like to formally introduce her. Yasko Arcava is a biomedical researcher in the field of neuropharmacology from the University of Maryland School of Medicine in Baltimore, Maryland. As a spiritist, Yasko is a member of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, SSB, and she has been involved in many different activities there to include children and youth education, outreach program, study groups, as well as giving lectures at the center and other spiritist centers around the area. Just a friendly reminder, everyone, please, please, please send your questions, use the chat window. Yasko will reserve time to address your comments, your questions once she concludes her presentation. So Yasko, please take it away.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you again. It is a great, great honor, really, to be participant of this incredible series of Saturday's talks sponsored by and organized by the U.S. Federation, Spirits Federation. So for that, I'm so grateful to Tanya, Josara, João, Marcia, and all the staff that are even behind the scenes to make these lives available to all the Spirit Center, Spirits Group around the world. This is so important that we have a kind of unification in the propagation of the Spirits movement coordinated by U.S. Federation, U.S. Spirits Federation. So for that, I'm so happy, glad, thankful. Thank you very much. So today I chose this topic, is Jesus miracles or psychosomatic healings? And also talk about resilience as a tool, psychotherapeutic tool to manage our struggles. So Jesus, in the next slide, you're going to see that the Jesus miracles were around 30 or so, and they came to the knowledge of Christians and non-Christians through the four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Not all four actually said all the miracles. Some miracles were described, narrated by four of them, some by three or two of them, and sometimes only one of the evangelists narrate these so-called miracles. So, for instance, we can divide in three categories. Is the action, the supernatural, extraordinary actions of Jesus over what we accept at that moment as natural. So it was kind of against the natural law or the natural norms of the time. So it was seen as extraordinary, supernatural. For instance, over nature, how come Jesus transformed water in wine in the wedding of Cana? Was actually one of the first miracles that Jesus publicly performed. Then also he was able to control the storm when him and the disciples were caught up in the huge storm in the lake of Gennesaret. He calmed down the winds, calmed down the storm, the water, etc. Also, he could walk. Disciples saw him walking over the water. How come? He should sink. Also, when he was able to multiply 5 loaves of bread to distribute to 5,000 people that were at that time hungry for many days following him, and 2 fishes in many people. And also he pointed out a place in the lake that the fishermen could find a great amount of fish. Was called the great fishing. So all of these were seen as miraculous, a power, divine power more than the nature. So the next group is over what we call resurrection, over death. So also was seen as very miraculous, like when Lazarus, the brother of Mary and Martha, was dead and buried for 3 days, and he actually asked to remove the stone that served to close the tomb, and demand Lazarus to walk out, and he walked out. And so they said, but he was dead for 3 days. No, he wasn't dead. He was. Or the son of the widow of Nain, that during the funeral procession, Jesus found him and the mother was crying. So he said, no, he's not dead. Wake up, stand up. Or the daughter, 12 years old daughter of Jairus, that was administrator of the synagogue, that people were crying that she was already dead. And he said, no, she's just sleeping. So today we see this as a state of catatonic state that the people at that time could not identify the real death, so was considered dead, and many were buried even alive. And the miraculous resurrection was his own resurrection. Oh my God, when he appeared 3 days after his crucifixion, what we're going to celebrate tomorrow, wow, he was dead. We saw him at the cross, and now he comes vivid, alive, many times to many people in steps. But the healings, the control of the miracles that, if you see the next series, his power over the illness and the action of some demons was really attract a big, large crowd, because at that time of Jesus, because of the ignorance about the causes of this illness, and also because of the very poor sanitary conditions, many of these illnesses mostly were leprosy, blindness, or the woman that was suffering with organic bleeding for 12 years, or the paralytic one that was, he was cured, or some possessed by the demon, by the low-level spirits, like the woman that was curved. She was able to stand up straight up with Jesus' talk, demand to the demons, to the spirits, that is obsessors, to get out from her, or from the boy that was having the epileptic seizure. So all these were considered completely miraculous acts of Jesus. So they said, well, Jesus, oh God, oh, he's God, perform these against the law actions. That was not against the nature, against the what we call norms. So must be something divine, or when they want to crucify him, they decide to classify these actions as from the devil, from the evil. Also, that they at that time believed that the evil power also could make those out of natural actions. But then, of course, we ask, is really was miracle healing, or was a psychosomatic cure? Today, we know that the mind, the sentiments, the emotional struggles can make something crazy to our physical body. So we ask, how the society treated people, low-class people, and especially women of that time having health conditions. Were they understanding people? Were they accepting the authority of that time, that was the Roman Empire ruling, plus the Pharisees, the religious authorities, oppressing, putting their severe ruling over these strange, unusual conditions, especially health conditions that included blood. Blood was very much something that they didn't want. It was considered dirty. So blood, mucus, some fluids coming from the body, or skin problems they knew it could be contagious to other people. The priests that were responsible for the sanitary control, they knew. So they put a religious label to say, this is against our religious guidelines, Moses' law, or something of this sort, in order to have the people obeying their rules. So let's pick up this case of this woman. What happened to this woman? If as a woman, I don't know if I passed the next, but as a woman of that time, they didn't have in a male ruled society, even the civil society or the religious society, had no rights. They were considered items, possessions of the male, the family. If the woman was a single, she belonged to the father authority. She was an item almost. If she get married, she now belongs to the husband. If the husband dies, now someone has to take responsibility. A male figure has to take responsibility. Usually a brother or an uncle, someone, otherwise she would be thrown out the street or be an outlaw in the society. So this woman, imagine that this woman was having these so-called female issues. That is menstrual period bleeding. So the society at that time said, look, woman in that stage, in that period, or when she was pregnant or delivered a baby, she could not be touched by anyone. She could not touch anything. And she also had things that she would touch, material thing has to be thoroughly washed, cleaned. If it cannot be cleaned, has to be discarded. That's how she was put out in a corner, could not get out from the house. So this woman was in continuous bleeding. So she was ostracized for that society. And also, so she said, well, so when she heard that Jesus was passing by that area, it doesn't need to be that she was just living in that street, in that road. No, she had probably had to come to that place, made an effort. And while she's crawling there, you know, the Matthew or Mark says, this is Mark's description says, and a woman was there who had been subject to bleed for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors, not that she didn't try to be cured, to be treated. So she tried all doctors and had spent all she had, money, possession, yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him, inside this crowd, underneath, trying to say, and she said to herself, if I just touch the fringe of his robe, I know I can be cured, I can be healed. So she did. And she had to be this secretive because of the law. If they find that she, in that state of bleeding, she touched someone, she would make that person impure. In this case, Jesus. So if she will be caught, it would be a big commotion because she was against the law. So when her bleeding stopped and Jesus said, who touched me? She was completely scared because she was doing something against the law. So, and then Peter said, oh, Master, but there's so many people around. How could you say that? Who touched you? Everybody's touching. No, someone touched me in a different way because of virtue and vital energy get out from my body. So she was getting so afraid, but she said, that's me. But my bleeding stopped. And then he said, well, your faith healed you. Go in peace, my daughter. So now I ask, I don't know if the next, I ask the following. I think there is, yes. We ask whether this is a psychosomatic, was a psychosomatic disorder. Because this woman was under such a pressure for so long, so undermined, so with low self-esteem. So we ask, was this Jesus' acceptance welcoming a therapeutic healing for her? So at that time, from that time and even to this century, all these women issue, physical, mental, psychological, was classified in what they call hysteria. So hysteria was mostly a women issue, a female issue. You don't call a male issue a hysteria. It's all about women. And usually is from they classify as a psychological imbalance of that woman or something. So it was very negative. So the oppression, we all know, all the people, especially the sick, the poor, was under a big deal because of this religious, political, cultural prejudice. But this term stays until 20th century, and many known psychologists, Freud, Charcot, that they dedicate a study of the women of that time to understand hysteria and to treat hysteria. They always thought, like especially Freud, everything was somewhat related, especially for female patient, related to suppressed sex desire. So because they could not express their sexuality like the men, all these were consequence of this psychological problem was consequence of this suppression, oppression that Freud thought about, but later was not exactly like this. Only in 1968 hysteria was abolished from the medical manual and terms because it was considered pejorative, was considered prejudiced, and fallacious. Was not correct to say, attribute every psychological female problem to their uterine pathology. So there is this a very big diagnostic category, diagnosing the statistical manual of mental disorders that categorize all these mental and psychological problems. And what this paper said that what could be very parallel what hysteria was, according to now to this manual, was what is called conversion disorder. Is one of the somatoforms, so somatoform, psychosomatoform disorder, and is now diagnosable as a mental illness. And look at that, can cause limbs paralysis, blindness, chronic pain, amnesia, dementia, hallucinations. Look, all these physical problems, Jesus healed in his time. So look at that. Now, 20th century, this conversion disorder, it can also identify all this illness of Jesus' time. And they say, medicine of 20th century, after thorough laboratory, neurological, radiological tests, no clear organic or physical cause found. You see, even today it's not found. It's more commonly triggered by the body's reaction to psychological trauma and stressful events. All these psychological traumas, stressful events, those people, the normal class, not the high priest, they were subject to this oppression, to this stressful situation because of the religious and political ruling of that time. But importantly, physical injury, infection, migraine, panic attacks might also trigger this conversion disorder. So it can be the other way around. Isn't it so interesting that the modern medicine is now reaching out to explain this psychosomatic? We say psychosomatic because the psychic state can reflect in the physical, which is the somatic part. Somatic component is the physical part, right? So, so now I ask, we ask, well, so we have this scenario. Jesus, the modern science, medicine is kind of, how to say, accepting, explaining in more or scientific means. But what is Spiritism? How Spiritism explains Jesus' miracles? So this is 1800 after Jesus, right? So let's see. In this book, Genesis, Miracles, Predictions, according to Spiritism, Part 2, 3 chapters talk about miracles. Miracles. So Kardec, now he's trying to bring the Spiritist point of view to explain, and in the end, he wants to prove, to make us accept that there is no miracles. Everything is under the natural laws, either physical laws or spiritual laws. So in this chapter 13, he talks about the characteristics of the miracles. And of course, he starts to define what miracle means. And he says, etymologically, miracle comes from mirare, admire. That means miracles means admirable, something extraordinary, surprising. But the Academy or the dictionary defines as miracle as an act of divine power, contrary to known laws of nature. Theologically, the church says miracle is a derogation from the laws of nature through which God manifests the divine power. So the church, up to today, wants to and demands to miracle being still accept as a divine law, all those events. And if I decide, no, I have an explanation, or like Galileo said, I have an explanation for that event, for that phenomenon. It's not a miracle. It can be explained by law, can be reproduced. I can put in mathematical forms, I can put in observations, statistics, etc. No, the church will say, you are committing heresy. This is a divine phenomenon. It cannot be explained by nature. It's not natural. And for that, if you insist, no, it is natural, it's not divine, the church would excommunicate you and put on to be burned at stake. Well, many did. Many found this end to their conviction for that conviction. And more, this up to today, to be canonized as saints in the Catholic Church, first has to be Catholic. One of the other one be a very good person, but it has to have performed miracles, some kind of phenomenon, healing, whatever, that could not be explained by natural law. has some supernatural, divine power there involved. Up to today. Okay. So once once the phenomenon is explained, there is no miracle. Also, to be a miracle, it has to be unusual, isolated, and exceptional. So if the science or in the laboratory or the observation of the sky, we say this can be reproduced, therefore is subject to some law, some physical law, it can be known or unknown law, it's no longer a miracle. Because if you can reproduce, there is a law behind this. So it's not considered a miracle anymore. So in order to be a miracle, it has to be was unusual, isolated, exceptional. Once it's reproduced, no miracles. So the science, with the development of science, the things that happen in the material realm, because the scientists, they, fortunate, unfortunate, they don't deal with other than the material realm. And all the tools, technology is directed to unveil, to study, to analyze things, material phenomena. So, and also using our five senses, only our five senses. So we develop technology to enhance, to amplify my capability to see, either very tiny ones, microscopic, or macroscopic with the telescope or the lenses. So, but still is with my eyes, or the olfactory, the smell, if I can enhance capability to sense the presence of few molecules, etc. So once they started to put under the law, because of the experimentation of the observation of the cosmos, for instance, it's no longer a miracle. It's no longer a miracle. So the amount of miracles related to material realm start to shrink. For instance, before all the ancient people were amazed about the lightning during storm. And they put even the divine or evil force behind that. They worship those. Today, we know how it happens during the lightning, during the storm. We know that the storm is also beneficial. It can clean the air, can have an ozone type of cleansing because of the high power energy, or the aerodynamics of the aerodynamics law that can put heavier than the air objects up in the air. There is a law behind, and they use that in order to improve more and more heavier objects and put them on the air. Or, for instance, some cures also, we already know, we're gonna see later, that let me see more example here. So what else? The aerodynamics. This train of levitation. If you go a little bit before the levitation, everything when the first time the tables started to be lifted, and they didn't know what energy was lifting these tables during the Kardec time, the levitation. Today we understand. We can put above the track all those heavy trains this system called mag level, something like that, that the train levitate a little bit above the track, so the friction is nothing, so they can reach a speed of 500 kilometers per hour or something never thought before. But there is a law, there is a there's some elements, chemical elements with magnetic power that when manipulate can lift by how to say, repulse and not touch the trail. So all these things shrink all these miracles in the spiritual world. But in the spiritual phenomena, the science did not tackle so much. It was not in their radar. And because they're not in their radar, they don't want to, and they decide that doesn't exist. Or like Kardec says, is that not only that they don't want to study, to analyze, but by not accepting, they kind of get blind. And they start to talk, to call other people that comes like spiritists with the rational explanation, like something that we are in not a good state of mind, or nothing to be taken seriously. But things are changing slowly. So let's see now, next slide, why there is a item in this chapter that say spiritism does not perform miracles. Because the spiritists are the ones that now knows and deal most thoroughly and routinely about the spiritual phenomenon through the mediumship. And we have, like Kardec gave us this doctrine based on rational analysis, thorough experimentation to see if it was reproducible, all those things that the spirits were answering about the question made to the mediums. So let's see why spiritism does not perform miracles. We cannot accept these things that people outside of spiritism says, oh, this is a miracle, this is a divine action, divine power. No, we cannot, because we have all this information that I'm going to list below. So we have no right to be ignorant. First, we are spirits. Not all people accept we are all spirits in both realms, either incarnate, transiently, or mostly either discarnate. This is incarnate or discarnate. There is a misspelling there. So we are spirits. First of all, we accept that. We are immortal spirits in constant evolution towards angelitude, from the very ignorant stage to the pure angelical state. Reincarnating, we accept reincarnation multiple times in various conditions, sex, place, planets, systems outside of Earth, etc. So prejudice among the spiritists, it will low down. I cannot say, wow, I'm against, oh, wow, you woman. No, I was a woman before. Oh, I was a man before. I was also born in Africa. I was also born in Asia. Prejudice, why? Third, we have a perispirit, a spiritual body in both states, as a discarnate or incarnate, in various density, refinement, subtlety, according to my stage of purity. Jesus, being the most pure being, lived in earth. So his perispirit was the most ethereal and the most powerful and capable, we're going to see. The perispirit serves as a body for the spirit to express its thoughts, desire, will, emotions, intentions, bad or good. Bad or good. So it's the spirit that has all these bad or good emotion, desire, thoughts, etc., but needs the perispirit to express this and to pass to the physical body if it's incarnated, is in incarnate states. And the perispirit also serves as the link to the physical body during incarnation and act upon matter. So the spirit, either discarnate or incarnate, can manipulate, act upon the matter through the perispirit, more evolved, more capable. The spirit will be to manipulate what we later we're going to call the universal cosmic fluid. Jesus was the utmost powerful being, could manipulate, and he made even the planet Earth. So why not other things that are much smaller? We are spirits in infinite degree of evolution, and accordingly, infinite states and subtlety of spirits and physical body for the world that we are in. So we had also a very rough physical body before. We are refining the physical body too, not only the spirit, the perispirit. The spirit has evolved, it changes the spirit and the physical body. We can communicate with discarnate spirits, look at that, and with the particular ones if we have the merit. Well, we were also informed with lots of books, even Kardec's, but beyond Kardec, under Louis series, about the spiritual world. The houses, hospitals, schools, course that we have, that is there, and we can participate and go there and experience this world, spiritual world, during emancipation. We accept that we can detach, emancipate from the physical body during sleep, during dreams, in awakened state during trance. We accept also, number 8, we have a vital magnetic energy that we can use during passes, prayers. We understand how passes and prayers work because we are made of vital magnetic energy, all beings. With the age, of course, of the high spirit, to achieve the mental and physical healings. But this is also how we are prepared to connect with the high spirits, to exchange these vital fluids. 9, we understand about second sight that was considered miraculous, bicorpority. Euripides Barçanufo, that emancipate from, left his body in the class and went to rescue, to deliver a baby far away. Saint Anthony of Padua also, and for that he was canonized, that he was in Italy, then he went to Portugal to save his father in a trial. So Jesus, of course, was the most powerful person that could do whatever he wants, be corporate, second sight, manipulate all the matter. Number 10, the apparition, materialization is not the miraculous anymore. We understand about the ectoplasm. It's a vital energy, like the blood. Blood is made from the physical body, donated by the physical body, and then manipulated by the spirit. Either a different class of spiritists perform healing, apparition, etc. And we understand by the same ectoplasm, levitation, moving tables, so nothing anymore is miraculous. It's all, like Kardec says, natural phenomena. Next. So next, we talk about fluids. That is very important because fluids now is what is manipulated and be a source of healing. So universal fluid is a primitive element, we all know, of both corporeal and the perispirit, which are merely transformation of it. So everything that is in the material and the perispirit, except for the spirit, is made by universal fluid, which is the primitive element. So how the healing is performed, occur according to Spiritism? It says, by the very nature of this fluid condensed in the perispirit, this fluid can supply, it can be supply reparatory elements to the body. Reparatory elements of the body. The driving healing agent is the incarnate or discarnate spirit. I can do my own healing if I concentrate and make some exercise. So the driving healing agent is the incarnate or discarnate spirit that injects a portion of the substance of its fluid envelope into a deteriorating body. So is a flow of the healthy to an unhealthy one. The healthy molecule substituting the unhealthy molecule. The health cell substituting the unhealthy molecule. Well, today we know all stem cells therapy is based on this. You know, the transplant of medulla, also the bone marrow is to replace the healthy ones to the unhealthy ones. But I can, in very more routine way, with certain exercise, boost my own stem cells and heal myself. Today, still we have to implant, to inject some embryonic stem cells, which is not well accepted. But anyway, we can learn to boost all those stem cells and heal with my own cell, replacing the unhealthy by the healthy one. The curative power is thus the direct result of the purity of the substance injected. So it's not all good. It can be more or less because of my state of mind or the healer mind, this healer power. Jesus had the most pure, powerful substance. It also depends on the energy of the will. So who is doing the things? If the one that is distracted, we call weak healer or very strong healer. And also depends on the intention of who wants to be healed. If the person stays sitting there but doesn't care, it's not going to be healed. Like Jesus said, your faith healed you. Go and no sin anymore. So it depends on my moral transformation after that healing session. The fluids that emanate from impure source are like adulterated medicinal substance. The same way we have not good medical drugs, also those source of energy, the energy also can be, poor quality. So finally, it depends on patient's desire to be healed. So that is all explainable now, and we all see that something that before or people outside the spiritists can see as miracle is not any longer. We spiritists know how to improve the results. It's all here, it's all in the heart. Okay, so next, so in this chapter 14, there's many things that Kardec also goes through many all those miracles. But one thing that caught my attention was to consider he talks a lot about the superiority of Jesus' nature. We have to accept we're going to reach his state. But Jesus was special. So he says the superiority of Jesus was not linked to his body, but to his spirit, to his perispirit that was quintessential, very pure. So that's why he was able to heal thoroughly. And also foreseeing that with the second side, he could warn or something else would gonna happen in future. So they say the quality of the, we said already, the quality of the fluids endowed him with immense magnetic powers, second by his incessant desire to do good. So we have to reach to Jesus' state. Next. Next I see. Now let's see what medicine, for curiosity, what the mainstream medicine is today. We know a lot of chemicals, neurochemicals. Oh, we have these happy chemicals, serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin, endorphin, all good ones. Make us happy, diminish our pain. Oxytocin is the nurturing, loving, when we are in the loving state and happy, content with ourselves. Oxytocin is high. When I am in a state of compassion, oxytocin is high. That's how that woman of 12 years of bleeding, she got a cure because she got all these good chemicals. And we know oxytocin in the uterus makes a contraction because it's a chemical that is present during delivery, to contract the uterus, then to expel the fetus. So, of course, by contracting the uterus, the bleeding stops. So we can even explain by physical means, more also by psychological state that improved so much that she was healed. But also we have a bad, to the right, bad, stressful neurochemical, depends on our state of mind, cortisol, adrenaline, that it is triggered by fatigue, chronic stress. It's a very bad one that we have to get rid of it. We know a lot about mental illness, the neurochemical background of these mental illnesses, how to treat. That's how we have so many drugs for treating anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, etc., etc. But there is something important, placebo effect. This is known for a long time, that if we believe we are taking a powerful medicine, even taking a sugar pill, we can be cured. 30% or more of the cases showed placebo effect. The patient was not receiving the drug that she or he believed was received. It was just a sugar pill. So what is behind the placebo effect? Was this mental state that changed the trust that now is healing my physical illness, psychosomatic illness. And also a very important development is what is called epigenetics. We're not any longer subject to the genetic slavery. Oh, I'm born, my father, my grandfather, my grandparents had this, so I'm gonna have. Not necessary, because depends on my state. Here is psychological state, social interaction, food, the quality of diet, exercise, microbiome quality, all this behavior, contentment, this is change the environment around the cells, and that defect, not, but tendency, genetic tendency is not expressed, because now geneticists know not all what is in the DNA is expressed. It depends on these factors. There is a potential probability, but not a necessary condition. So lifestyle medicine is getting to be very important in the future. It's starting slowly today. Okay, so you see that we are walking slowly. The mainstream is slowly about, it's still pretty much treating the effect, not the cause. The cause, which can be in the spirit, in the perispirit. No, they don't want to see this whole being. It's still difficult for them to accept. Medical school is having slowly, is teaching alternative medicine, complementary medicine, lifestyle medicine. But they are far, far, far from treating the spiritual part, background of all beings, because they don't accept what we accept, what Spiritism says, right? Once they accept, they're gonna, this research we're gonna boost, and all the spiritual phenomena that they consider miracle, it's not miracle anymore. It's not. It's like what is happening to electricity, etc. So I decided to talk about resilience as a psychotherapeutic tool, because what I noticed that many of these Jesus teachings, especially in the Sermon of the Mountains, talk about a lot about humility, but it's not that humility that you stay passive there. Resignation that you have passive there is waiting for. No, resilience. What resilience means is the capability to be able to bounce back. So you press, oppress, but I'm able to stand up. It's like this bamboo trunk that, the wind comes, it goes with the wind, but it comes after the storm pass, it comes back to the straight position. It doesn't break. So it's the capability to bounce back when we have been bent and stretched out of shape. And so many times we have been. When the storms of life, trials, challenges comes at work or in a relationship, instead of wallowing and letting things keep us down, we get back up and continue on with our lives, productive. American Psychological Association says resilience is a process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, stress. That's how Jesus taught. Jesus taught, look, you bounce back. You will succeed. Go and not sin anymore. See other routes. So did Peter, Simon Peter. Wow, it was a low stage when he denied Jesus 3 times. And Jesus looked at him with this understanding look. Didn't I tell you that you would deny me? So the first moment he wept, he was so upset with himself. But what he did, he bounced back and became the Simon Peter to direct all those younger disciples, the followers of Jesus. So did Paul of Tarsus. He killed, he assassinated Stephen. He did that. He stayed there crying forever? No, he bounced back. And he did his great job. Without him, we won't have Christianity in the Western society. Today, we have Nelson Mandela, resilience during apartheid fight, Stephen Hawking, overcoming or trying to control or deal with his disease, Viktor Frankl, during the Holocaust. We have many of this, right? So what is resilience? Next slide. We see that there's many domains of resilience I thought was interesting: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Just look at that. Physical flexibility, endurance, strength. Mental flexibility, attention span, ability to focus, incorporate multiple points of view. We have to practice this. In order to build up resilience, we just build this kind of trait or properties or of our mental part. Emotional, be emotional flexible, positive outlook, self-management. Don't give up on ourselves. Spiritual flexibility, commitment to values, change, inner transformation, tolerance of others' values and beliefs. Accepting. Jesus did all the time this. He enticed everyone to do so. Don't be so harsh. Matthew, Levi, why are you condemning? Next. So we know if you pass through other things, we can pass on. So we have, before. The positive attitude. We have to have positive attitude. That's what resilience, one of the component is. Positive attitude. The positive person acknowledges the reality is not illusionary, but it looks to the good of life. Good part, optimism. Resilient people continues to hope that things will get better, not always expecting the worst. And there are many people that expect always the worst. Ability to manage emotions. Resilience involves capability to take ownership of your feelings and control them. Yourself, ourselves, not others. Don't put others, blame other people, circumstances, etc. Take hold of your situation. Seeing failures as helpful feedback. This is good. Instead, be la, 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 nye, nye, nye. What can I do better next time? What can I learn from this? It's what Jesus taught us all. Okay, next. I think we have to wrap up. Okay, so this book very quickly is called Resilient, Your Invitation to a Jesus-Shaped Life. This is also a DVD series. I listened to them. This guy was passing through a very bad familial problem. And he said, my God, let's see what Jesus can help me. And he decided to read every day for 1 month the Sermon of the Mount to see if he could extract something to help. Then that went to 2 months, 3 months. So he advised us to do the same. He says, you will find the healing, the way to get out from your problem. Your resilience is up, boosted. And so here I put at least the 4 Beatitudes, what Jesus did. He said, blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Poor of spirit. Not the few that are poor in appearance, no. Those that are humble, resilient, willing to stand up. Those that mourn, they have sensibility because of mourning, but I will be comforted. The meek, not the one that is very proud, I'm the best. No, the meek will inherit the earth. In the planet of regeneration is not place for those that are very obnoxious, petulant. No, not anymore. For the meek. Those that hunger for, thirsty for righteousness, justice. We are the ones that are gonna be blessed because we see the injustice that hurts us and we want to change that. First in ourselves, change our view of judging people, not to be so harsh, right? So that's what I wanted. I don't know if I have more. I don't think so. Next. You can pass it just to show that, just to show that today's therapy is reaching, we can discuss during the questioning that the modern therapy is getting to Jesus methodology slowly, saying that, well, what he taught 2,000 years ago, we finding out is the way to treat our patients. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, YASCO. I think this is such a rich information, right? We could go on and on for
Sorry,
hours.
it was a little long.
No, it's okay. No need to be sorry. I think we have a few minutes of questions just before we close today. So let me see if we can have anyone. So Violet, hi Violet, thank you. Thank you for putting the question below. Yasko, how can we acquire the state of mind of the woman with faith?
Yes, it takes time. We first start, we don't believe that. I may not deserve it. We start first to jeopardize, sabotage ourselves. Mm-hmm. That's the first inclination. But we'll reach one time that either we are permeable to some kind of inspiration from the above, because the faith is there. We just have to be, boosted and let it appear. So this woman, we asked, why didn't she do in the first year? So why 12 years? Why so many? There was a time that she said, enough is enough. I did what was in my power. I went to this doctor. I heard and someone whispered, there's a guy there. It can help you. It can be other person. Goes to that spirit center. Many went to Chico and you went to Divaldo, right? Suddenly that faith, that courage, that is mix of courage comes. I'm gonna take actions unusual before seen as impossible. We take this unusual action. And she decided to do that. And we're gonna see many people doing this. They have to get out from the same behavior, change it. They're how, but it needs to build up. It needs to build up. And faster we go if we accumulate knowledge and experience in the correct way, not in a negative way that would put our potential or chance to build up the faith much lower. No, we have to do the correct way, look for correct situation.
Yeah, I agree with you, Violet. I hope that your question was answered. I think it was in your last slides, right? The idea of what's the patient, how to best get to that point to be able to be healed. Let's see if we have one final question. Yeah, from Violet again. So Violet is asking a second question. YASCO, she's saying, how can prayer specifically be used as psychotherapeutic tool? Great question. Thank you.
Yes, very great question, Violet. As you said, because we made with this vital magnetic fluid, all beings in different stage, more or less, more powerful or less powerful, but we all have this magnetic vital fluid that we can exchange. Depends on our mind, the purity, the truthful of our intention when we are praying. Not that say, oh, do I have a merit? No, we all have the merit. Just we have to trust. I have, but also I am humble. I am humble to say, look, God, look, mentors, look, whoever, I need your help. I am here prepared to accept, but please help me in this situation. Help my kid, help my baby. Please. I am here to asking you and willing to accept and to do whatever is necessary. It's this willingness to change that I think makes our prayer a psychotherapeutic tool, because many of our conditions at least is worsened by our psychological state and mental. Otherwise, the Reiki or the passes or the all the alternative medicine won't have an effect. But we know we have effect.
Yes,
And
truly.
explanation how we boost our vital fluid.
Yes, thank you, YASCO. So we have some comments here, and that's thanks for sharing this interesting study of how physical problems routinely healed by Jesus can now be identified as those triggered by one's reaction to psychological trauma. So I myself could say, YASCO, very, very good connections that you brought to us today, right? And I hope everyone who's on the live talk today can also see that, right? That the things are all somatized by our own psychological trauma. Therefore, healing is part of the psychotherapeutic tool. I can't speak today, sorry.
I was so amazed when I read
Yeah.
about this conversion
Mhm.
disorder, how powerful is our mind, our trauma, psychological
Yes.
trauma, to cause a really severe physical impairment,
Yes.
limitation, paralysis. Well, we know that suddenly, well, the person had this, lost someone, and now she can or he cannot walk anymore. We hear about this. Suddenly the person starts go downhill, and they eventually die. And kids that has this another brother be born and suddenly doesn't want to walk anymore because he sees that the attention is going to the baby.
Yes. And I would
Wow.
say, Yasko, the other component of it is I'm thinking as I hear your words and the words from this comment is that we, especially now, after 2+ years of a pandemic, right, we're all very vulnerable to some psychological trauma. So on one hand, we are vulnerable and it's good to recognize that. On the other hand, it's important to recognize that faith, right? Faith and understanding our connections with the divine can heal us. It
And
is
once
within us, right?
yeah, once you accept and wants to bounce back, we try to boost our faith, but also in an active way, trying to find different alternatives. That is what is be resilient. That's what made the difference between Simon Peter that bounced back and became the head versus Judas.
Yes.
Judas also betrayed, quote unquote, like Peter felt Jesus, betrayed Jesus. But what happened to Judas? He was not resilient. He committed suicide.
There is very, very good
Increasing.
here. Just really important for us,
Look at
right?
that.
So
It was the same situation.
yes,
And he
yes.
worsened his state as a
Wow,
spirit. Look at that. Oh,
absolutely.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. So everyone who is here listening to this talk, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you, Yasko. We have come to the end of our talk today, and I appreciate your
Thank you,
questions,
Violet.
your comments, right?
Thank you,
And I
Marcia.
just wanted to let everybody know that
Hi, Christina.
next Saturday, April
Uh-huh.
30th at 11 a.m. Eastern, don't miss our next live talk with Marcelo, Ana Moreno. I'm sorry. I thought I had a different one. So Ana, I think this is, yes, I'm sorry. I had the 30th. So Ana Moreno, my apologies, everyone. Ana Moreno will be talking about searching for the meaning of life. And I'm really excited to be able to hear from her on that such an important topic. As we are about to end this live today, would like to just remind everyone that, as you know, the U.S. Spiritist Federation has released the virtual course, Initiation to Spiritism, which is delivered weekly, free of charge. And it's really catered to anyone who is interested to either start to learn about Spiritism or those who want to go back and review those basic principles. Tomorrow, specifically, 10 a.m., we have a new lesson, and that lesson will be focused on reincarnation. The lesson will be released at 10 a.m. Eastern, and if you're interested in registering and getting reminders via email, go to www.spiritist.us, and you can do that very easily. I would like to ask Yasko to say a prayer before we end today. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcia. So let's all together concentrate our mind, our heart to the above, to the high spirituality, to God, our Father, to Jesus Christ, our brother, model, guiding model, all our mentors, guardian angels. To first be so grateful to all of them, especially to God, that out of His mercy allowed us so many opportunities in different incarnations to redo what we did badly before, to develop or amplify our virtues is still so weak. Patience, tolerance, vanity, pride, selfishness. Please, God, please, mentor, help us to be more vigilant in our relationship with others, with our family members, neighbors, and to ourselves, to be more kind to ourselves, not to be so harsh. Please help us to get the best direction, especially in moments, the crossroad, to take the best decision, for us to be aware of your presence in all times. We also ask you to help and protect this planet, especially in places where we have all these conflicts among brothers, the disease, the bad sanitary conditions, like in Africa, for us to be aware, to put our heart, our mind to work for them. For all the ones that have the authority over people, to be kind, to be compassionate, to be generous. Thank you so much for this incarnation, the experience we have with the Spiritism, learning the primitive, the original teachings of Jesus, and also to put in more rational way. Thank you so much for all the opportunities given to us. Thank you, and so be it.
So be it. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a blessed Easter Sunday tomorrow.